Viewers, the big story that we have for you this morning is the latest as far as the SCO summit is concerned. Defence Minister Rajnath Singh has firmly laid out India's strategic priorities at the SCO Defence Ministers meeting. With terror and peace at the core of India's message, Rajnath Singh underlined zero tolerance when it comes to terrorism and pushed for enhanced cooperation on regional security. India has also called for greater collaboration among SCO nations to ensure lasting stability and peace in the entire region. Listen in.
India reaffirms its resolve to fight terrorism in all its forms and manifestations. On 22nd April 2025, the terror group, the Resistance Front, carried out a dastardly and a heinous attack on the innocent tourists in Pahalgam, in the Indian state of the Jammu and Kashmir. 26 innocent civilians, including a Nepali national, were killed. Victims were shot after they were profiled based on the religious identity. The Resistance Front, which is a proxy of UN-designated terror group Lashkar-e-Toiba, claimed responsibility for the attack. The pattern of the Pahalgam terror attack matches with LET's previous terror attacks in India. In exercising its right to defend against terrorism and preempt as well as deter further cross-border terrorist attacks, India on 7th May 2025 successfully launched Operation Sindhu to dismantle cross-border terrorist infrastructure. We reiterate the need to hold the perpetrators, organizers, financiers, and sponsors of reprehensible acts of terrorism, including cross-border terrorism, accountable and bring them to justice. Any acts of terrorism are criminal and unjustifiable, regardless of their motivation, whenever, wherever, and by whomsoever committed. SCO members must condemn this evil unequivocally.
And viewers, India has taken a firm stand at this particular meeting of the defence ministers. India even declined to sign the joint communique. India protested that this is going to lead to dilution of the stand as far as terrorism is concerned. China, backed by Pakistan, wanted a joint statement without cross-border terrorism mentioned in it. India wanted that cross-border terrorism as well as Pahalgam terror attack should be mentioned in this joint statement. So no joint communique to be released after SCO defence ministers meeting. Let me go across to my colleague Srinjoy Chaudhary joining us live right now for more on this. Srinjoy, now this is a big development. India has made its stand absolutely clear. India has taken a firm stand this time by refusing to sign the joint statement because that would have really diluted India's position on critical issues, particularly fight against terrorism.
Undoubtedly, first of all, the Pahalgam terror attack was the worst in a long time. Definitely, there hasn't been a terror attack like this in any SCO country in recent years. So how can it not be mentioned in the joint communique? Secondly, you see that cross-border terrorism is a phrase that India uses for terrorists who come from Pakistan or POK and attack people in Jammu and Kashmir and other parts of India. Now, this is something India has been living with from 1999. How can it not be overlooked? So we have to underline it each and every time. If you don't do it, you are actually losing the plot. So the important thing is to stick to your guns in this case and say we either have cross-border terrorism mentioned in the joint communique or not have the joint communique at all. And that is precisely what has happened.
Right. Enjoy, as far as this particular meeting is concerned, it brought together defense leaders from organizations, 10 member states. Now, that included, leaders from China, Russia, Pakistan, and as well. So I want you to tell our viewers a little bit about how India sent the message across, loud and clear that it is not going to tolerate cross-border terrorism at all, when Khwaja Asif perhaps was on the other side of the table when Mr. Rajnath Singh made this big statement.
That's exactly the point. You have to be at the SCO to make it clear to the world that we are not budging. And that's what Rajnath Singh did. He made it very clear that cross-border terrorism, terrorism per se, and the Pahalgam issue were the worst incidents in recent times. And we had to deal with it. Now, it's important to say this in front of Pakistan, in front of China, and in front of all the other countries. The Iranians were there. 4 of the Central Asian countries were there. India and Pakistan are recent countries who have joined recently. But regardless of that, the important thing is to tell the world. Now the SCO is an opportunity. You tell the world about Pahalgam. You tell the world about Operation Sindhu. You tell the world about cross-border terrorism that has troubled India from 1989. You tell the world about specific terror attacks like 26/11 and so on. And that's the only way the message can go across. Also, importantly, who are the hosts here? The Chinese. Now, if the Chinese are hosts here, they have to be told unequivocally, as Rajnath Singh will later today after lunch, when he speaks with the Chinese defense minister and the Russian defense minister and several other defense ministers, but pointedly not the Pakistani defense minister, that look here, cross-border terrorism has to be combated. Cross-border terrorism has to be fought. And Pahalgam was the worst incident in recent years. Now, if a country cannot accept that, well, India will stick to its guns. India will continue to say this till the world faces these facts.
Srinjoy, I request you to stay on with us. In fact, let's once again listen in to this reaction coming in from Defence Minister Rajnath Singh.
It is imperative that those who sponsor, nurture and utilize terrorism for their narrow and selfish ends must bear the consequences. Some countries use cross-border terrorism as an instrument of policy and provide shelter to terrorists. There should be no place for such double standards. SCO should not hesitate to criticize such nations. India's zero tolerance for terrorism is manifest today through its actions. This includes our right to defend ourselves against terrorism. And we have shown that epicenters of terrorism are no longer safe, and we will not hesitate to target them.
And we have more inputs as well as far as this story is concerned. More SCO members we're getting to know have backed India. The resolution was not adopted at this SCO meeting that took place in China earlier. Let me go back to Srinjoy Chaudhary, who continues to be with us at this point in time. Srinjoy, India's refusal to sign the joint communique at the SCO meeting, in fact, was consistent with its previous independent stances as well in multilateral forums. But on the issue of terrorism, do you think it's the first time that we have seen something like this happening? Because I remember in the previous SCO summits, India had clearly declined to endorse, supporting paragraphs that supported China's Belt and Road Initiative and also China's BRICS currency basket plan.
Yes, those were definitely issues. But here, this is the biggest issue that India has faced in recent times, the Pahalgam attack. 25 of your citizens killed, a Nepalese citizen killed. In where? In Pahalgam, a tourist spot, 26 innocent people killed in front of their wives. Now, if this cannot be held up for the world to see, then what? the most important thing after that was Operation Sindhu.
Right.
Now, if you're not going to talk about cross-border terrorism, then why should India even sign it? India has got support internationally, even within SCO.
Right.
So
Stay on with us, Srinjoy. I'll come back to you on that point in just a bit. We are also joined by retired Major General JKS Parihar, who is a defence expert. Good morning, sir. Thank you very much for speaking with us here on Times Now. Your first thoughts on India sending that message absolutely clear that when it comes to peace and prosperity, they cannot coexist with terror.
Absolutely. I must compliment Government of India, and I am proud of my Defence Minister, Mr. Rajnath Singh, who took a very sharp and bold decision and stand against the Chinese. You know that the SCO is basically dominated by the Chinese supporters, and India is there basically to contend with the China's intentions in the Central Asia. And obviously, we cannot be the party to any endorsement of the when we are ignoring the cross-border terrorism and expecting India to support their manifestos is absolutely unethical. And Government of India has taken a very right decision and steps, and I again welcome this.
All right, sir. Thank you very much for speaking with us here on Times Now and sharing with us your perspective. Srinjoy, thank you for your inputs as well on this particular story.